Hello, and welcome to a Fransmart exclusive interview with Zachary Schmackary Schmahl and Jonny Polizzi from the East Coast's highest volume bake shop, Schmackary. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Zach and Jonny from the Schmackary's leadership team. Say hello, how are you?
Oh, that's what happens.
Good. Yeah, of course. I'm super excited to get into a little bit of the nitty gritty today of how you guys have built such a legendary shop on 45th Street. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Zach, if you could get into the lovely story from 12 years ago of how you started Schmackary's.
Yeah. Originally when I started Schmackary's, it was really a hobby that turned into a passion. And that passion just kind of catapulted me into starting this business that was just kind of a pipe dream of an idea. And then when I started it, it just took off overnight. And I started it out of my 400 square foot apartment. And within a year, it grew so much that I had to get a store. And I decided, why not the middle of Midtown Manhattan to start my own little bakery? And it was an instant overnight success, and it's been an incredible journey. And for me, I as somebody who's not originally from New York, I really felt like New York needed a business with some heart and soul, that felt like it was missing from the other businesses in New York City. And then when I created it, I really wanted it to be this old mom and pop bake shop from your grandparents' childhood that doesn't really exist anymore, but we're going to revive it and bring it back for this 21st century that's very tech forward, and yet people haven't forgotten what it's like to be treated like human beings and to get great customer service. And through that, one thing that was so important for me is to build something that had a community connection, something that people could find tangibility with, and that they could connect with the people working there, and that they could not just get a great bake shop experience, but also feel like they were being served by a friend.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And that actually reminds me of a great quote from you, Jonny, where you said, everyone is going for something that looks good in pictures, but they're forgetting the emotional attachment behind what the product is and what it means. So we're here to bridge that gap. Can you tell me just a little bit more about how you're crafting that memorable experience in store and how you're going beyond just a cookie?
Absolutely. And it's something that really is very true to my heart as a person and as a business owner. I think throughout the new generation of people using social media and kind of connecting through an online platform, people have kind of felt like they'd rather just shop online, or they don't want to go into a store because they lose a little bit of that connection with the business. And they're just kind of looking at a product online and thinking, oh, that looks great, but they don't even have any context behind it. And whenever you attach an emotional layer to something, whether it's a product or an experience, you're creating this memory, right? You're having something that's like a seed planted in you. And when we were really coming up with the whole model behind what Schmackary's is and how we envision growing, we thought, how can we take customer service to the next level? Everyone delivers great customer service, and everyone talks about how customer service is so important, but there's no emotional layer to it, and there's nothing that creates this feeling that's relatable. And so we thought, hey, Schmackary's is a kind of like a Midwestern feel. It has this really charming vibe, and how can we bring that into the store? And so we came up with this idea that all of our employees are going to deliver Midwestern hospitality. Not great customer service, because that's just the bare minimum. But for us, it means having empathy for your customers. It means having compassion for them. When someone asks a lot of questions, don't get frustrated. Be excited that they're asking questions, because they want to invest in this product. And so whenever they come into our store, they're always greeted with a hello, how are you, versus what can I get you? Zach made a great point where he touched on making people feel like you're being served from a friend. And by creating this Midwestern hospitality feel, it makes people leave feeling like, wow, I actually know the person behind the register. And although I love the cookies, I want to come back for that person, because a good product is a good product. But when you attach that emotional attachment to it, it then makes people feel like they want to invest more, because it's more than a cookie. It's leaving feeling seen. And that means a lot to us.
Yeah. And, it's one of those, I always tell people who are working for us that you have this amazing power that when people are walking into our store, you know, you don't go and get a cookie just because like, oh, well, I'm just kind of hungry, so I just want a cookie. It's like you're going because you kind of want your day to be made just a little bit better. And so like you could be having a great day and you're like, you know what could make this day even better? A cookie. Or you could be having a really bad day and you're like, I really need a cookie right now to like lift myself up. I deserve this. And
That's
so
me.
I say,
Yeah.
walking to our shop, like you have to realize that these people want their days to be made a little bit better. And so you have this awesome power that you could either like just kind of dial it up a little bit and like, you know, give them a good experience, give them an awesome product and then go on their way. Or you could really be like, I'm going to make this person's day. I'm going to give you this experience and want you to know that like you and me right here, we're in this together and I'm going to like sell you anything that you want. And it's like, it's a dream just as much as it is a product that we're offering. You know, we're offering something tangible.
Yeah. And I think just from, you know, being in your store and witnessing for myself, I even see that transcend with the employees, like having that emphasis on creating a genuine connection and just the culture that you've built with your employees as well, like makes them happy to work there, makes them super excited to engage with different customers and regulars that come in throughout the day. So I think that also just contributes to how long you guys keep employees and the culture that you've created. So
yeah, it makes you feel like you're part of something bigger.
And it's a chain reaction, right? Someone comes in, they're greeted with excitement, they feel seen, they feel happy. It then makes your employees feel really good because then that customer is going to come back and they're coming back for that employee. And what doesn't feel better than having a customer come into your store and then they become your regular. And then from there, they become a friend from the store. And that is something we see all the time here and it couldn't make us happier.
oh yeah, and oh my gosh, yeah, and you guys definitely know your regulars by name and what they order and everything as well. So you're so just connected to everyone. I love it. Oh man. Okay, so I want to divert just a little bit. Your store you're known as the official cookie of Broadway, of course. Your flagship location on 46th Street is right in the heart of NYC's theater district. That is legendary in the community. So I want to hear a little bit more about your first Broadway collaboration and what that looked like for you or any fun memories that you have from it.
Absolutely. So, you know, like we said before, you know, a big thing for us and for me, as you know, has always been building community. And so when we opened up the store on 45th and 9th, I was like, we're in the heart of the theater district. Like the theater district should be our community that we really collaborate with and try to do as much as we can with. And, you know, we would see so many actors from the shows come in and out. And then one day I thought, how fun would it be if we had Broadway stars come and work behind our counter and maybe raise money for charity? And so I reached out to Broadway Cares and I said, hey, I have this idea. Would you guys be interested in us doing a charity called Broadway Bakes? And we'll have stars working behind the counter. And they're like, that sounds amazing. And I was like, okay. Well, at the time, this was kind of when Twitter was really getting big originally, prior to it becoming X. And then I just kind of started reaching out to all these stars on Broadway and being like, hey, we're doing this charity with Schmackary's and we would love for you to be a part of it and serve cookies. And literally everyone we asked said yes. And I was like, whoa. And so
Wow.
and we did it for just a week. In our first week of doing it, we raised over $15,000 for Broadway Cares.
Oh my gosh.
And it was crazy. Like the donations of people just coming in, just wanting to interact with their favorite Broadway star. And in turn, I got to meet so many people that were like idols to me my entire life. And it was just such a cool experience. And then we just continued that trend on, and it just kept growing and growing. And now like we became synonymous with Broadway, and we've gotten so many incredible opportunities because of just doing that, just leaning into the community that was around us.
Oh, wow. And I just want to point out too, from what I know of your guys' story, those even came about from just the crazy word of mouth from your customers, and even you, Zach, like formerly working at a marketing and advertising firm, connecting all of that, I believe, through Twitter, right?
We used Twitter originally for Instagram.
Okay.
was like Twitter was what everybody was using. And I mean, that was a huge way of how we got our fans engaged and how we became like, you know, incorporated with just the community of Broadway and all these like really big celebrities who were on Broadway, and we started delivering to all the Broadway shows. And it's just, it kind of came full circle. And then when everything came about with Only Murders in the Building, it was just like, it was kind of a culmination of all these things that we had continued to invest in this community. And then we didn't realize like how this little community actually had such a big outreach that it got us on like one of the biggest streaming television shows out there.
Yeah, Paul Rudd saying hot damn, that is a hot schmackary statement.
I love our schmackary.
So wow.
And it's been really fun because, you know, when I signed on with Zach 4 years ago, we had a lot of people who would message us and they wanted to do fun things with our cookies, whether it was changing the frosting or having like a cookie theme for their specific show. And then I thought, you know, how could we take this to the next level? And I'm always thinking, as much as I love donating things, I thought, how can I also turn this into another revenue stream for us? And I started kind of pitching the idea of the theaters buying cookies, and then we give them out to customers on behalf of the theater. And that's, you know, basically kind of created a spark that turned into like a cool little fire. And now all the shows reach out to us to do these Broadway happy hour events where we'll make 200 cookies and then we'll decorate the store and we'll have people come in and they just get a free cookie on behalf of the show. And they think that the show is giving them the cookie and it gives us exposure. And so it really has opened up the door now to not only are we making connections, we're getting free marketing, and we're also able to sell our cookies, which to me just checks all the boxes for what a business wants to do, you know?
I love what you said about crafting these recipes specifically for these Broadway collaborations. I think that's just LTO gold. I loved especially your Brittany biscuit that you guys ran last year. Thought that was such a fun pun and play on words. And just to pull it back a little bit, I'd love to hear a bit more about, you know, you guys have this great legendary Broadway status with your original store, but as you're taking that through with franchising, you know, you're really honing in on reviving that old American bake shop and that mission to create those community hubs in neighborhoods across America. So I'd love to hear more about how that kind of revival, that mission has shaped your different menu offerings and revenue streams. Right now, you know, dessert shops are so highly specialized, but you guys offer specialty coffee, these insane cookie creations. I think you're at 100 plus recipes now that even tie in with Broadway show themes. You offer pastries, you offer breakfast items, you offer ice cream, you offer so many amazing things and have built your business model so well to have these different revenue stream offerings. I just love to hear more about how that all ties together and your vision for franchising there.
Yep. Do you want me to take this one? Sure. So one thing that I really love about what we do here, and this makes us very special, is although we offer all different types of treats, they all have a theme and a commonality, right? Our brownies aren't just brownies, but they still have that, or I should say, they still spark that same feeling that you get when you eat, you know, your favorite brownie. Our ice cream, you know, it's ice cream, but we have taken it a step further, and now we infuse cookies into our ice cream to make our own flavor. Our scones, but we have an everything scone, and so we kind of take what people would consider the norm and we jazz it up a little bit. And one of my favorite sayings is, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, we're trying to sand it down and make it roll better. We don't want to make it so different that it becomes a trend or a niche and then people love it. And then after a few years, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, remember when that came out? We really have created a menu that really sticks with people. And it does spark this feeling of, oh my gosh, I remember when my mom used to make brownies like this. And then we put the Schmackary's touch on it, which I think Zach has done so well over the years and has brought that to life.
Exactly. You know, I think, you know, for us, I always wanted things to be relatable to this like old feeling of an old bake shop, and all the treats and things like that are familiar but elevated. You know, we're taking cookies, which are an old American pastime, but we're amping them up and we're making them special and able to compete with, you know, the ice creams of the world that are coming in so many different flavors. It's like when I started this 12 years ago, nobody was really doing that. And the cookie trend has come on. And so now people are starting to take more risks with cookies, but we're constantly evolving all of our treats, and we're bringing them back to the basics so that it's like, it's a treat that looks familiar to you. It's a cookie that looks familiar to you, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit jazzed up. It's something elevated, you know, and that's something that we specialize in. And so everything kind of goes in. Nothing that you see on our counter is going to look unfamiliar. It's just going to be amped up a little bit.
Yeah, and that also really tracks to how we are envisioning our franchise growth, right? We don't want things that are so out of the box that it kind of makes people feel like, oh, what's that? Or what are you doing? You know, everything that we create, it really does spark that feeling with people, whether you're in New York, you're in California, you're in Wisconsin. It brings people back to what they love and enjoy, which is something that's really simple but really good. And all of our products, they may not be simple, but they're really good, and they all have a feeling that brings people back to the desserts that they love. And we don't really take it too far out of the box.
Exactly. And with that, you know, as we're starting to franchise, one thing that we're always thinking about is like, how do we create unique, special things, but not make it so difficult that our operators aren't going to be able to make something? You know, we wanted to do things that are simple recipes, tried and true, that like we've tested and tested and tested again. And we know if you put things together in this combination, it's always going to work out the right way. And, you know, we're trying to minimize the waste of a bunch of random ingredients. We're like, how can we use the things that we have to create new and special and unique product offerings all the time while making it an easy turnkey operation for our operators?
Exactly. I think like you have just found that magic balance in that, not only in your business model that can, you know, adapt to trends quickly for your franchisees to be able to get in on what's happening, you know, on TikTok or on, I guess, X, not Twitter anymore. So they can adapt quickly. But they also had, like you said, those tried and true recipes that stand the test of time, that when you're eating it, you are just taken right back to that nostalgic, warm feeling that you get for me at my grandmother's house or going to her favorite bakery. So I really think you guys have created something special and have also made it just super easy for franchisees to create that in their own stores and connect with their own communities through that. And I think that's part of what makes Schmackary so special, is how not only easy you guys have made it, but how involved you are.
And you know, the beauty of that is that has so much to do with what marketing is as a brand. You know, it's finding out what is your niche and how do you get that visceral feeling. You want people to have an emotion connected with the products and the services they have. And I think so many companies now, they want to give you a white shell box with just a few products in there, and they're forgetting that what people shop with is their eyes and with their hearts. And so it's like, if you can nail those things, like you really, it's just a win-win situation. I think it's an often forgotten thing that people take for granted.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think between your recipes, between even your store design, like the Norman Rockwell, the pinstripes, the like wood accents everywhere, I think everything about that just evokes that feeling that people really connect with.
We're storytellers.
That draws people. Yeah, you are storytellers, just Broadway background. No, natural storytellers, community connectors. There's so many great titles that we could put just on you guys and can define what Schmackary's is. So as you take your franchise offering nationwide, you guys have coast to coast growth, opening stores all the way from New York to San Diego. You've got one opening in New Jersey. close to the end of this month or next month, I believe. So really, really exciting things happening on the franchise front. A lot of growth happening for your brand in just your first year of franchising. I wanted to find out a little bit more, what is it like to franchise with Schmackary's? What is it like to work with both of you, with Zach and Jonny, as the franchisors? I'd love to hear more about just what that experience is like for your franchisees.
Yeah, I really believe in leading by example and operating a business operating a business out of respect rather than making your employees feel afraid of you. And I think that when we move into the franchise model, it's very much the same, where we want our franchisees to look at us and say, wow, I can't wait till my store is exactly like what you guys have created at Schmackary's on 45th Street. And everything that we do here, we constantly think, how will a franchisee replicate this? How will this work with a franchisee? And when you keep that in the back of your mind, you're subconsciously setting up your business for success, because you're thinking not about the product that you're serving, you're looking at your business as something that you're serving. And we are serving our business to our franchisees. And so by creating this model where everything is easy to replicate, the desserts that we sell all have a process and all have been standardized, it then allows us to pass this over to our franchisees and then have fun with it, because we're no longer worried about how they're going to learn this. We're really worried about, like the minor things that really kind of fall to the wayside and aren't that serious. So now when we are talking to franchisees, we are just so confident that we're going to make this an amazing experience for them. And working with us, we kind of think about it as what our employees feel downstairs. Like, we come in, everyone loves to talk to us, and we want everyone to feel really comfortable, but we also want to be there. We love supporting people. And what's better than handing over the business to another person that loves your business? Like, that's such a great feeling.
Exactly. Yeah, we're ultimately looking for people who see our business and they're like, oh, I get it. I get what you're doing. And that they know that after 12 years, we have the systems in place. We have the recipe for success for you if you're willing to learn and adapt to what we're doing. And I think that that's the most important thing for us. It's like, if you follow these steps, you will have success. And for us, it's about getting into a relationship with the right people who aren't just trying to make a quick buck because cookies are this fad right now, but they're like, I see your business and I see what you guys are doing, and I see how this could be all over America and even the rest of the world, because like, it has lasting power. It has so much. And as a company, we're not afraid to evolve. We're constantly evolving and changing. But one thing that doesn't ever change is our dedication to service and our dedication to our product quality. And those are things that we're not going to change into the future.
And I always think about especially the franchisees that we have now. Every franchisee that we have had the privilege of signing on to our business, they are the types of people that they want to walk into their store and they get joy out of seeing their employees behind the register, interacting with customers, people sitting by the window having their coffee, going into the kitchen, talking to their employees, seeing how everyone's day is going. I think that that's the type of person that we're really looking for, that person that's, maybe they've been in finance for 35, 40 years, but their dream was to have a bakery. They just wanted a simple bakery where they can make people happy on a daily basis. And for us, that's priceless, and that's what makes us happy. Walking into our store, seeing smiling customers. When we see a line out the store, we're not thinking cha-ching, dollar signs. We're thinking, oh my God, look at all these people enjoying themselves, having a good time, having conversations, taking pictures with their Schmackary's bags. Like, we're making people's day, and that is like just such a joy and a privilege when we really think about it.
Yeah, and we really do feel like people are investing in us, and that's a big thing. And so in turn, we invest right back into them, and we are. Our franchisees have become like our family. It's like they really are taking on this thing that was like my baby that I'm now passing off to somebody and saying, please take care of her. So, you know, and it's a joy to watch people learning our processes and getting so much joy out of just learning what we do and seeing, you know, they saw something that they were like, wow, this place is really special. And then the more that they deep dive into it, they're like, I didn't even realize how special this place was. And it's like, wow, you know, you always think sometimes you're like, if you see the guy behind the curtain, are you not going to be as enamored with it? And it seems to be the opposite, where the more people get to know us and get to know the business, they're like, I feel like I couldn't have made a wiser decision for my future.
Yeah.
Is just such a joy for the two of us to be sprinting.
We've already been threatened that our franchisees are going to steal all of our employees. So, you know.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. No, and just from, you know, I've met your guys' franchisees. I've talked a lot with them, and I can also, you know, back that up, that they are just the sweetest, most special people that not only know what they're doing, but they are passionate about the brand, and they are passionate about, you know, just, what was it? Some of your franchisees just wanting to open already and just being so antsy and being like, I want to get this open. I want to connect with everyone. Everyone's telling me how excited they are. So I think that that's something truly special, is like, of course, franchisees are in it to build generational wealth and all the fruits of, you know, the franchising labor that comes through. But I think, as you guys mentioned, beyond it, not only are they, you know, in it to build that business for their families, but they're also, you know, seeing how special Schmackary's is, and in it for that community connection, and in it for just, you know, being part of a fun franchise. And that's something really special. At Fransmart, we look at a lot of brands, we see a lot of brands, and there's something just so special about what you two have created and what Schmackary's as a whole has created with their franchise system.
I mean, you nailed it with the word fun. Like, having a bakery like this that does what we do, and like on a daily basis, we consider ourselves day makers. Like, that's a fun thing. Like, we have to work every single day, and we're not like, gotta show up to the bakery. It's fun. It's like you feel alive, and there's a great energy in there. And I think people just want to be a part of something where they're like, I don't want to just clock in and just go to work every single day and be like, another day at the office. It's like to have something that's just fun, and you're constantly evolving and changing. It's like, it's a fun thing to be a part of. And those are the people that we want to attract.
If you're having a bad day, go work behind the counter for an hour and interact with customers and talk to people and watch people get excited over cookies. It just completely changes your day. And sometimes Zach has to like drag me out of the store because I can't stop chatting with people. And, you know, just letting people know how excited we are for them to be in the store. And I grew up in New York City, and I remember when New York City was very much all mom and pop shops, and we knew our butcher, and we knew the guy who had the deli, and you know that has changed a lot. And in fact, we always say that the coffee shop person, you know, the barista behind the counter, their new MO is just to not say hi, to almost think that they're too cool for school. And we joke about it often, but it's actually not funny when we think about it. And so we have really wanted to change that with our store and go the complete opposite route, where you're like, you know what, I may not even want a coffee today, but I'm just going to stop in because this person is working, or I see them in the window, and it's like, you know, waving through to say hi. It's those moments that are so important for a business in this day and age, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think that everything from your business model to your menu offerings to your employee culture to your store design, everything was really built to just already cultivate that and can be put, you know, in any spot in America and just bring that warmth and that nostalgic feeling. So I'm so excited for you guys to be opening coast to coast this year, to be, you know, welcoming all these new franchisees onto your brand. And I can't wait to see where the brand goes in even 10 years. And to look back at this interview and to say, oh, this is where we started and this is where we're at now. All right. So just So just to look over some of the things that you've cracked the code on as a brand and as a franchise system is you really focus on creating that warm, like we said, the warm, nostalgic community hub. You grow with the community that you plant your stores in and tailor your menu offerings or your LTOs to what customers will be excited for, you know, what they really want. And that just furthers that connection of your brand with the community. And you also have created a very adaptable yet long-lasting business model. You've cracked the code on that to, you know, stay and be successful for 12 years, but to also get, you know, 1 million+ views on TikTok because you came out with a great new LTO that everyone just was so excited for. So I think you guys have created truly something special. And I wanted to actually, as we wrap this up, turn it back over to you. You know, what pieces of wisdom, what fun anecdotes have you gained over the last 12 years that you would tell anyone either looking into franchising, looking to make their own bake shop? You know, what pieces of wisdom would you share with them?
Big one is don't take things so seriously. I think, you know, there's so much serious energy in the world right now, and I think people want to find places where they can just relax and smile and just feel seen. And you know, don't forget about your customers. You're in business because of these people who are coming every single day, and you got to value those people. And that starts from the minute they see your store to walking in to having a connection with your workers. It's like every single one of those touch points matters to your customers. And people have not lost sight of that old school Midwestern charm. It's just becoming less familiar. But when people see it now, it's refreshing. And I don't think that that's going anywhere.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, a lot of business owners, they tend to forget that consistency is the most important thing in any business. Making sure that when your customers come in, they get the same product, they get the same smile, they have the same coffee every single time. And a lot of businesses, they try to woo people in and they, you know, hold their magic wand and they're like, look how amazing we are. And then maybe the third time they come in, it's not that amazing. Maybe the person behind the register wasn't as nice and as delightful, but the cookie was good. And then the fourth time they come in, the cookie was not the same and the customer service wasn't the same. And then it starts to snowball, and it's because the business owner has probably lost touch with their business. And that's what's so important with us with the franchise model, is that we're creating something here where it allows our franchisees to keep up with that consistency so that every time the customer comes in, they know what to expect when they come into a Schmackary's, whether it's in New York, Chicago, LA, Miami. They know I'm going to get that great customer service with my great treat, and I'm going to walk out feeling better. And if I have a bad experience, I know that they're going to go out of their way to meet me where I'm at and elevate my experience and make it amazing. Because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect, but it's how you deal with those little mishaps that really make it up to a customer and can completely turn someone from, you know, a customer that comes in twice a week or maybe 3 times a month to being a complete advocate for your business and being your super fan. So I really don't want people to forget that the consistency and that experience is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think that is the perfect way to wrap up our exclusive interview today. Thank you both so much for your time. There's so many actionable and valuable insights from today's exclusive Fransmart interview. Until next time, guys.
Thanks, Casey.
Thanks. Bye.